guys, Mons here. On today's episode of All Ball with Mons, we're going to be looking at my Game Week 7 prediction and picks. I'm going to be looking at the preview of my Game Week 7 prediction and picks. So, I'm going to go through a couple of results and see how I fared this week. This week, I'm up 6-3. Like I said last week, could be down last week, but I'm going to be up this week. And that's exactly what happened. So, this week, I predicted 6 victories, which were Bournemouth, Manchester United, Arsenal, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Manchester City. My 3 losses were Leeds. I felt Leeds were going to beat Spurs, and they were very, very unlucky. We're going to get more into that later on in the video. And Liverpool versus Chelsea. Very disappointing Liverpool. I already went through my Premier League Game Week 7 review. And also, Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, their unbeaten run came to an end. I'm going to go through that a lot more in details in a couple of minutes in this video. So, the only draw this weekend was Wolves. I also felt Wolves could have won that game. I didn't really see that game, so I can't really say much about it. I just saw they were 1-0 up, so I felt they were going to win. But obviously, Brighton came back and got a 1-1 draw. So, Bournemouth, I was watching the game. I watched most of the Bournemouth game. Very, very good. The first half was so boring. That was one of the most boring first half I've ever watched in my life in the Bournemouth game. But the second half, they went 1-0 down against the run of play against Fulham. It was looking like Fulham were going to win, but Areola made a couple of substitutions, completely changed the game, and then Bournemouth, Anthony Semenyo was brilliant. Anthony Semenyo in this game was the man of the match. He's been one of the player of the season for me. Him and Haaland just pips him, but I think Anthony Semenyo was just right behind him. I think he's the second top goal scorer in the league. He got 2 goals and 1 assist in this game. He was absolutely fantastic, especially in the second half. His first goal was brilliant when he got the ball, drew past 2 or 3 players in the tight angle, and he buried it on Leno. Leno should have done better, but the power on the shot, absolutely unstoppable in my opinion. And I don't see him being at Bournemouth for much longer. Well, this season is going to be at Bournemouth, but next season, I can see Manchester City going out to getting Anthony Semenyo, just because Savinho, not that impressive. Phil Foden, not that impressive. They have the young guy, Oscar Bob, playing out on the wing for Manchester City. I believe Anthony Semenyo is going to be a Manchester City player by the start of next season, in my opinion. Also, Areola, brilliant substitution, made a big impact in the game. That's what I like to see from managers. 1-0 down at home, crowd not really getting on your back. Guess what the manager did? Made a couple of substitutions, ended up winning 3-1. Fulham, like I said, this season, they aren't going to be out too much. I don't fancy Fulham at all this season whenever they play. Manchester United versus Sunderland. I went through that in my Premier League review for Game Week 7. Very good Man United performance. The most complete performance I've seen us under Amorim from start to finish. Very impressed. Shout out to Amorim. Fan of you when you do well for Man United. No complaint whatsoever this week. Arsenal win. Seems like a solid 2-0 win for Arsenal. What I heard from the Arsenal fans were West Ham made it tough for them. I expect no less, especially from Nuno. I feel West Ham are going to put a couple of runs together now with Nuno after the international break. He's going to have a couple of weeks to work with his players. And I believe West Ham are going to shut up that table because Nuno's a brilliant manager. They're going to stop leaking goals, in my opinion. Newcastle won, beat Nottingham Forest. Like I said, Newcastle need that win. 2-0 solid win at home. 2 goals coming in the second half. Didn't see much of the game. However, very impressed with Newcastle getting a solid win at home. Nottingham Forest, Ange, you're in big trouble. Like I was saying to the lads, what phase is Ange Postecoglou in? I think he's going to get sacked. There's no way you keep a man... Like, if Nottingham Forest is going down the table, I don't see Ange being there for much longer. I think Ange is a bona fide scrub when it comes to setting up his team defensively. I think he needs to get a defensive coach, to actually set up his team, because going forward is very, very good. But defensively, his teams have always been scrubs, in my opinion. And then Aston Villa. I feel Villa might have gotten a groove back. I would have liked to see Watkins on the score sheet. However, I saw Morgan Rogers go on assist. I didn't see the game, but I saw Morgan Rogers go on assist. I hope that kickstarts the season, because I'm a big fan of Morgan Rogers and I would like to see him do well. And I feel like they got a groove back, because midweek I saw them playing against Feyenoord. Feyenoord absolutely battered them in the first half. Feyenoord should have been up 1 or 2 in the first half. However, Villa stuck with it and it came back and won 2-0. And this game, they won 2-0 again. So very, very impressed by Aston Villa. They might just have gotten the groove back, in my opinion. And also Manchester City, solid 1-0 win, away win. Away games, no matter where you're playing in the Premier League, away games are always tough. So that was a solid win. Guess who scored the winner again? Erling Haaland, fantastic player, fantastic goal he scored. Turned my guy Nathan Collins inside out. And 3 losses I saw for this week were Leeds, Spurs, Spurs weren't up to much, to be completely honest, which I saw some part of the game. Leeds should have won that game. The amount of chances Leeds missed was absolutely mental when I was watching the game. And also, it was a huge carry job by Kudus. Like I said, everyone watching my channel know how big fan I am of Kudus. Kudus was absolutely fantastic in this game. What a carry job by him and Romero. And also just a quick shout out on Romero, Christian Romero. I've never been a big fan of him because I feel South American defenders are all passion merchants. All they do is run around and kick players. And that's what Romero is known for. However, this season, I feel like Thomas Frank maybe spoke to him, calmed him down a little bit, and is a little bit more concentrated when he plays games this season. I haven't seen him put a foot wrong so far this season. He's been very, very good, very calm, and is displaying leadership qualities, which I'm very, very impressed by Christian Romero. Because it's hard to turn players like South American players like that. It's hard to turn them into calm, collective kind of players. So Thomas Frank has done a very, very good job on Christian Romero this season. Crystal Palace, the unbeaten run has come to an end against Everton. Like I said before the preview, Ndiaye and Grealish, those are the two guys that were always going to score or assist for Everton whenever you watch them play or whenever Everton are playing. Both of them got the goals. Crystal Palace, Mateta missed so many chances in this game. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Crystal Palace should have been out in this game in the first half or early in the second half before even Everton got a chance. But shout out to David Moyes. Another win for big David Moyes against the run of play. He got the 2 goals. So very, very impressed. Very, very impressed with everything. The way they stuck with it. Literally, that's pretty much. That's my preview for game week 7. Actually, one more thing. What phase is Gyokores in? We don't know what phase Gyokores in. That brother is an absolute bum. What a scrub, man. Every single time I've watched him play, like, I used to be a fan of Gyokores, but my goodness, man, he needs to start scoring a lot more goals. And also, he needs to start getting involved in the play a lot more. Not sleeping over the ball. Not just losing the ball every single time. Every single time I've watched him this season, he's had one good game. And that's when he scored 2 goals. I think it was against either Forest. I think it was against Forest, he scored 2 goals. Apart from that, the brother is a bum, man. He needs to start doing better. I think Arteta's not going to be that patient with him anymore. Arteta's probably going to drop him, in my opinion. That's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much. If you make it to the end of my video, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Have a lovely week. I'm gonna give my game week 8 picks, prediction, and preview in about 2 weeks time. Well, a week, nearly 2 weeks time before the game week 8, which is around about 2 weeks, simply because of the international break. But what I will also do for the international break is I'm gonna go through Nigeria's qualification hopes and Ireland qualification hopes as well. So those are my next 2 videos before the Nigeria game on Friday and before the Ireland game on Saturday. Thank you very much for watching my channel. I appreciate all the support. Peace out.